Hello, this is Ali welcoming you to the 2194th edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline 20th of June 2019. Readers this week are Ali, John and Kitty, with Peter on the controls. The editor was Phillip and the production and distribution team is Lindsay and Phillip. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Breuer and performed by Jean-Jacques Perret. It is used with his kind permission. Local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent and are their copyright. The lead story this week plans to tackle reckless drivers in danger spot. Before the news, now there's something else I should be telling you. I'm just looking up an email I received earlier and I'd forgotten to look it up before. Okay, right, here is a message. Enfield Vision are holding a drop-in morning on Monday, the 1st of July at Community House. That's 311 4th Street, Edmonton, N9 0PZ. The drop-in takes place from 10:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. and refreshments will be provided. Okay, so that's a message from Diane de Jersey. And now the news about sunrise and sunset for the week beginning the 24th of June 2019. Sunrise will be at 04:44 and sunset at 21:22. Do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, Kitty will read the first item of local news.
Plans to tackle reckless drivers in danger spot. Average speed cameras could be installed along a stretch of road that has been plagued by street racing and dangerous driving. Transport for London, TfL, said it had not ruled out using the cameras after 165 people were caught speeding in a Metropolitan Police crackdown on road traffic offences on the A10 in Enfield. The operation, now in its 7th week, also uncovered activities such as drink or drug driving and insurance offences. TfL said it is deciding which locations should be prioritised for safety cameras, and no roads have been ruled out. Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, launched an initiative known as Vision Zero to eliminate death and serious injury from London's roads by 2041. Vision Director at TfL, Stuart Reid, said, "We are committed to reducing road danger across the capital, including at the A10, and are in discussions with Enfield Council about the best way to do this. Safety cameras are only one of the ways to reduce speed-related deaths and serious injuries on our roads, and we will continue working with the boroughs and our policing partners to consider all the factors necessary to reduce road danger." Enfield Council brought in regulations designed to make it easier for the Metropolitan Police to clamp down on car cruising meets in 2017. Its Public Spaces Protection Order targeted speeding, drive-in convoy, racing, performing stunts, sounding horns and revving engines as to cause a nuisance and wheel spins. But in April this year, campaign group Better Streets for Enfield claimed dangerous driving was still going on, and the council, TfL and the Met Police seem to be passing the buck rather than tackling the problem. The group wrote an open letter to TfL and Enfield Police calling for a crackdown on car racers, warning people's lives were being put at risk by their activity. It complained TfL's promise to roll out a sequence of measures to deal with the problem, including average speed cameras, had not been fulfilled. Enfield Council leader, Councillor Nezil Kalaskan, wrote to TfL last month, complaining the transport body appeared to have ruled out using average speed cameras as a deterrent. She suggested the council could help with the cost of installing cameras if TfL could not find the money from its own budget. From the launch of their operation on April the 4th up to Friday, June the 14th, the police recorded the following offences on the A10. Total excess speeds reported 165. Insurance offences, 8. Defective vehicle offences, 39. Vehicle seizures, 24. Drink, drug, drive offences, 4. Goods vehicle offences, 8. Lost or stolen vehicles recovered, 6. Total arrests, 13. Driving without due care, 1. Detective Superintendent Andy Cox, Road and Transport Policing Command, said, "Working with partners, including TfL, we are committed to removing the most dangerous drivers and riders from London roads as part of Vision Zero. The A10 has been experiencing reckless drivers with a total disregard for themselves and other road users for some time. It must stop before there are any more fatalities or serious injuries. Therefore, we are ramping up police enforcement to deter such offending."
Fears grow over music festival. Crowds of up to 17,000 could attend event at Park. Plans to attract thousands more people to a music festival have sparked a raft of complaints from neighbours. The organisers of 51st State Festival, a major event on the house music scene, are hoping crowds of more than 17,000 people will attend the biggest event to date in Trent Country Park. The park has hosted the event for the past 4 years, and the council's licensing committee met on June the 19th to decide whether to grant a licence for another year. At the present time, we don't know what they've decided. Last year's 51st State had a maximum crowd limit of 15,000, which some claimed already put too much strain on transport hubs. The licensing committee has received 5 letters of support for this year's plans and 16 objections. Many of the opponents fear the festival will lead to crime and antisocial behaviour, including drug taking and urinating in the street, with plans to sell alcohol from 11 a.m. to 9:45 p.m. Others fear that another 2,000 people will cause travel disruption as large crowds head through small exits and towards Cockfosters tube station. The Friends of Trent Country Park fear that an inadequate number of police officers could lead to disorder. They add that previous events with large crowds have damaged the surface of the park and landed the council with heavy repair bills. Trent Country Park now hosts several large-scale events during the summer months. Not everyone is happy about it. Plans to hold the Elrow Town Festival in the park during August drew 26 letters of opposition from the public. But the council says music festivals and other events also bring cultural and economic benefits to the borough. Enfield Council's events strategy estimates they boost the local economy by more than £6.8 million and support around 87 jobs. The organisers of 51st State, Mad Husky Events, have submitted a plan to monitor noise to ensure it does not breach limits. Security will be enforced by 18 police officers, 1 inspector and 3 sergeants. There will also be 221 private security personnel monitoring crowds, with another 56 at the bars. The organisers have submitted a traffic management plan, which includes road closures near the park to minimise disruption. Councillors will have to judge whether the application satisfies 4 licensing objectives: the prevention of crime and disorder, the prevention of public nuisance, public safety, and the protection of children.
OBE to colleagues. A senior health service manager dedicated her OBE to every single member of our local NHS after being recognised in the Queen's Birthday Honours. North Middlesex University NHS Trust Chief Executive Maria Kane was made an OBE for her extensive contribution to health and care services of over 2 decades, particularly in North London. During her career, Maria has aided mental health organisations as both a volunteer and a trustee for 30 years. During her time at the Strategic Health Authority in London, her roles have varied from being responsible for strategy, planning, corporate development, communications and engagement. Ms. Kane said, "I'm incredibly grateful that the hard work and improvements which everyone at North Mid and across the local community has helped deliver in recent months is being recognised in this way. I'm clear that I am accepting it on behalf of so many colleagues and partners without whom none of the local care and services would happen." Ms. Kane says she sees working with her colleagues and partners across the public and voluntary sector as a privilege. Dr. Peter Carter, the interim chair of the North Middlesex University NHS Trust, praised Maria's award. He said, "It's a wonderful acknowledgement of the dedication and loyalty she has shown to delivering and improving health services and care for local people in Enfield, Haringey and further afield." Before joining the North Middlesex University Hospital NHS Trust in December 2017, Maria was Chief Executive of the Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Mental Health NHS Trust, which specialised in mental health services.
Council leader's inappropriate email breached code of conduct. Enfield's council leader has yet again breached the local authority's code of conduct over remarks made following a meeting on proposed changes to bin collections. Councillor Nezil Kaliskan was found to have breached the code last year after suggesting Councillor Derek Levy, who was then chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, should meet with her regularly to ensure he was more closely aligned to key decisions on Labour group priorities. She made the remarks during an email exchange that took place shortly after a Scrutiny Committee meeting in October. It comes after Councillor Kaliskan was found to have bullied former Cabinet member Councillor Yasmin Brett and breached the Code of Conduct over a decision to suspend her. The Overview and Scrutiny Committee's role is to hold the Council's decision-making to account. It is supposed to remain independent of the Cabinet. In a scrutiny meeting held on October the 23rd last year, Conservative leader Councillor Joanne Laban raised several concerns about the public consultation on changes to bin collections. She warned some of the proposed changes could be at odds with the Mayor of London's environmental strategy. She made the suggestion to send it back to the Cabinet member for Environment, Councillor Gooney Duggan. The committee was divided on what action to take, and Councillor Levy used his casting vote to send the consultation back to Councillor Duggan. The following day, Councillor Kaliskan emailed Councillor Levy saying she was worried Labour members were being led by Conservatives on issues that have been thoroughly discussed in Labour group and the Cabinet member had been given a clear steer on. She suggested she and Councillor Levy meet regularly, so that as senior member of the group, he would be aligned to key decisions that have an implication on any priorities we have and our budget. Councillor Levy replied to the leader, suggesting she reflect on the email, which he described as inappropriate and incriminating. Councillor Kaliskan doubled down on her original request for a meeting with the scrutiny chairman in an email sent the following day. Councillor Levy subsequently lodged a formal complaint with the council's monitoring officer, and a solicitor was brought in to carry out an investigation. The solicitor said there was a real risk that the role of overview and scrutiny could be compromised by Councillor Kaliskan's action. They added the reason this did not happen was because of the experience and confidence of experienced councillors who took steps to protect the integrity and independence of the overview and scrutiny function. The investigating solicitor recommended Councillor Kaliskan offer a written apology to Councillor Levy for the remarks. In a letter sent to Councillor Levy on May the 21st, the Council's Deputy Monitoring Officer, Jane Middleton Alboy, confirmed the leader had breached the Code of Conduct. The Deputy Monitoring Officer's decision has yet to be discussed by a conduct committee and could be subject to appeal. Councillor Kaliskan was approached for comment.
Money for Green Link. Transport for London is funding the creation of a tree-lined walking and cycling path linking the Meridian Water Regeneration Zone with Edmonton. The route will connect Cemetery Walk with Angel Gardens at Conduit Lane and will include full lighting, an avenue of trees and shrub planting. A wildflower meadow will also help wildlife and complement the existing watercourse. TfL has granted Enfield Council £720,000 to create the path. Cabinet Member for Environment, Gooney Dogan, said the path will benefit both people walking and cycling while also providing a beautiful outdoor space for residents to enjoy.
Streetlights could improve safety. New lamps will help cut carbon emissions. New street lighting to be installed across the borough could cut road accidents and boost public safety. Enfield Council is planning to upgrade its street lighting to environmentally friendly LED lamps, which create a whiter glow that is closer to daylight than the yellow tinge of the current lamps. As well as saving a large amount of money on energy costs, £3,080 382,000 every year once the rollout is complete. It is hoped the new lamps will have much wider benefits. A council report says the improved lighting will help both motorists and pedestrians see more clearly at night, and so could help reduce accidents, as well as improving the general feeling of safety. LED, short for light-emitting diode, lamps are more energy efficient than sodium lamps and will help the council to cut carbon emissions. They will be individually controlled using a new central management system, which could mean fewer complaints from residents being kept awake at night by bright lights. Speaking at a Cabinet meeting on Wednesday, June the 12th, Cabinet Member for Environment, Councillor Gooni Dogan, said, "I had a case from a lady saying, 'In front of my window there is too much light.' This will be smart technology for the future, which will allow it to be controlled so you can increase the light or reduce it." Cabinet members approved the introduction of LED lamps, and it will be voted on at a full council meeting next month.
Bike rental scheme launches this month. Those hoping to find a more environmental friendly way to travel this summer, you will soon be able to hire a bike to use outside of central London. The new bike rental scheme, Beryl Bikes, will be launched in Enfield with a rollout of 350 Emerald bikes on June the 28th. The bikes can be picked up and dropped off at Beryl Bays, which have been approved in conjunction with Enfield Council to be played outside locations like Broomfield Park, Enfield Chase and Arnos Grove Station. Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Gooni Duggan, said, "By providing cost-effective cycling options, along with secure cycle hubs and plenty of bike parking opportunities alongside the network of lanes, Enfield Council hopes many more people will make cycling their health and accessible transportation choice for those short trips around the borough." Once you have downloaded the Beryl app from the iOS App Store or Google Play Store, bikes can be hired with a pay-as-you-ride scheme, £1 unlock fee plus 5p per minute. Minute bundles, no unlock fee, bundles starting at 100 minutes for £5, or day passes, 24 hours of unlimited riding for £12. London Climate Action Week, where Londoners are encouraged to explore clean energy solutions and zero-emissions transport, take place shortly after the introduction of the bikes on July the 1st. Beryl will be rivaling existing mobile bike rental schemes like Mobike and Offo.
Bakery owners fined over hygiene. The previous owners of a bakery that featured on a BBC programme with celebrity chef Mary Berry have been ordered to pay £28,070 following the discovery of a string of poor food safety and hygiene practices, including an infestation of mice and cockroaches. During sentencing at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court on the 6th of June 2019, Lefteris Bakery Limited, located at Green Lanes, Palmer's Green, was ordered to pay fines totalling £25,000 relating to 18 offences contrary to Regulation 19 of the Food Safety and Hygiene England Regulations of 2013. They were also ordered to pay a victim surcharge of £170 and legal costs of £2,900. The offences relate to a period before the bakery was sold to different owners in October 2018. The new company trades with the original name and is based at the same address. There is no suggestion that the new owners have done anything wrong. No representative of the previous owners of the bakery attended court to face the charges, despite being aware of the hearing, so the prosecution proved the case in their absence. Enfield Council had been monitoring the bakery since March 2014, initially finding several issues, including a cockroach infestation, no food hygiene training, no soap or hygienic hand drying facilities at wash basins, and no adequate disinfection taking place. A return visit in January 2015 resulted in a food hygiene rating of 0. This rating at the bottom of the scale means urgent improvement is required. A score of below 3 is deemed to be non-compliant with food law. The one time the premises were found to be food compliant was in November 2015, just before the BBC filmed a Mary Berry programme, Easter Feast, in January 2016. However, Inspectors found that once the cameras stopped rolling, the bakery reverted back to its former inadequate hygiene regime. Follow-up inspections to May 2018 found the premises to be in a poor state of hygiene. Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Licensing and Regulatory Services, Councillor George Sava, said, "We take a dim view of any food outlets whose premises aren't kept in a hygienic state for the manufacture and sale of food. We have the right to expect the food we buy is safe to eat and has been prepared in clean conditions. It doesn't matter how big or small the business or whether you've appeared on national television. Everyone will be assessed in the same way by our inspectors." The bakery's former director, James Nicolau, who is being prosecuted personally, did not attend court. A warrant, not backed by bail, has been issued for the arrest of Mr. Nicolau, which the Metropolitan Police is actively seeking to enforce. The Food Standards Agency website can help advise people on where to eat out or shop for food. For more information, visit www.food.gov.
Hopes electric cars will lessen pollution. New charging points for electric cars are set to appear across London under plans announced by the Mayor. Electric vehicles offer a route to lower emissions in the city and reduce air pollution from diesel and petrol cars. There are now 20,000 electric vehicles in London, but that number could rise to as many as 330,000 by 2025. Speaking at the launch on Monday, June the 17th, Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said, "London's air is so dirty and polluted that it amounts to nothing less than a serious public health crisis. It breaches legal limits and blights the lives of Londoners, resulting in thousands of premature deaths every year. We are also facing a climate emergency that threatens the long-term security and well-being of every Londoner." Under the plans, London will invest in 5 major electric charging hubs, allowing multiple vehicles to charge simultaneously. The first of these will be running in the Square Mile by the end of the year. This year will also see a range of new rapid charging points capable of fully charging a car battery in half an hour. These will be installed at locations across London. Transport for London has invested £18 million in new charging points for electric vehicles. There are currently 180 rapid charging points across the city, with a target of 300 by 2020. 2 million Londoners, including 400,000 children, are living in areas with illegal levels of air pollution, according to the London Atmospheric Emission Inventory. The Mayor said he wanted London to lead on cutting transport emissions, with a target for all new cars on the city's streets to be zero emission by 2030, a decade before the government's target. But Green Assembly member Caroline Russell said the Mayor's plans failed to address the wider problem of continuing car use. She said, "Electric vehicles have long been heralded as a magic solution to clean up our air and cut carbon emissions, but they are still cars that cause congestion, road danger and particle pollution. We should still be prioritising people over new charging infrastructure. I have seen electric charging points bunged in all over the place, making pavements a slalom for people pushing prams or using wheelchairs. It's important that new charging points go in, but we should be thinking about public purpose, not simply car-dominated business as usual."
Lavender Hill community cleanup. Dozens of bags of litter have been collected by residents taking part in a community cleanup at Hilly Fields and Tuckers Park. The call for action to help tackle dropped litter in local green spaces was put out on social media by Danielle Schapp. In just 1 hour on a Sunday morning, a group of residents filled 25 bags with litter, as well as retrieving a rubber tyre and a CD rack. Danielle said, "In today's world, where green space is under threat, I thought it was important to give something back to our special Hilly Fields and Tuckers Park. I could never have foreseen what an amazing community event this would be. It was great to see local residents of all ages taking pride in their local area, educating the younger generations as to the importance of keeping our neighbourhood clean, and people forming new friends. More litter picking sessions are planned, and the next one is on Sunday, the 23rd of June from 9:30 a.m.
New schools proposed. 2 new academy schools are being planned on the former site of Chase Farm Hospital. Last month, around 400 people attended public exhibitions for the new primary and secondary schools, which are due to open in September 2020. In 2017, the government purchased 6.8 hectares of land, formerly occupied by the hospital, from Enfield Council and the Royal Free Charity. Housing is also going to be built there. The new primary school and nursery, run by 1 Degree Academy, would provide up to 630 places, while the secondary school, run by Wren Academy, sponsored by the Church of England, would accommodate up to 900 pupils. For more information, visit
Funding boost for children's services. A £375,000 funding boost will help to raise standards in Enfield's children's services and maintain their high rating. Money will be used to hire 9 more permanent staff to work on an improvement plan drawn up by Education and Children's Services watchdog Ofsted. Enfield's children's services were rated good in all areas following an inspection visit by Ofsted in March, the second highest rating below outstanding. But the education watchdog outlined further areas for the council to work on. The council needs to improve decision-making and quality of plans for children in need, the response to children missing from home, the response to children in private fostering, and the provision of health information for care leavers. Council report says hiring more permanent staff will allow it to reduce workloads to a reasonable level and cut its reliance on agency workers. Extra money comes on top of a £600,000 investment in children's social services that was made earlier this year.
Health. Demanding better from GP surgeries. Claire Fisher from Healthwatch Enfield on what public feedback has revealed. Last year, we asked patients about their experiences of booking an appointment to see their doctor. An impressive 1,071 of you shared your views, and we have now published a report showing our findings. In summary, 1/3 of you told us that you experienced difficulties booking a GP appointment, and there is clear evidence that patients from the most deprived areas in the borough face the greatest challenges in booking appointments, as well as having to wait longer. This is at odds with the stated ambition of the Regional NHS Transformation Partnership, North London Partners in Health and Care, to deliver consistent, high-quality services throughout the boroughs of Barnet, Camden, Enfield, Haringey and Islington. That is why, at Healthwatch Enfield, we will be working with GP practices and local health leaders to take a more in-depth look at the reasons for these differences. Ultimately, we want to work with practices and patients to co-design systems and processes that work best and seek to give patients equal access across all areas of the borough. You can download the full report from our website or sign up to our newsletter to keep informed of latest developments on this and other projects. In the meantime, a huge thank you for taking the time to participate. Not only does it make our job so much easier, it makes your voices heard where it counts. As we always say, together we really are making a difference. This financial year of 2019-20 is going to be another busy year for Healthwatch Enfield. Based on your feedback, we will be focusing on carrying out research and public engagement, while also seeking to make improvements around booking GP appointments, adult mental health services, and health and care services for children and young people, including those with learning disabilities and autism. We will also continue to work at strategic levels to ensure that the integration agenda promised by the NHS long-term plan is realised and works for Enfield. Want to get involved in any of this work? Call us to discuss opportunities we have on offer. And in the meantime, look out for our pop-up stalls across the borough, or follow us on social media to stay involved with shaping your local services. For more information about Healthwatch Enfield and to get in touch, call 020-8373-6283. Email info@healthwatchenfield.co.uk. Tweet @healthwatchenf. Visit healthwatchenfield.co.uk.
Uncle and nephew illegally dump waste. A man and his nephew have been convicted of dumping several tons of construction waste onto derelict land. Thomas Stokes, aged 51, and Brian Stokes, 32, were caught on CCTV dumping 4 full loads of rubbish from a black and white tipper truck. The pair illegally dumped the waste from house renovations at Stonehill Business Park in Edmonton in 2017. They emptied the materials onto the former auction site twice in just over an hour before driving off. The waste dumped could not be weighed accurately, as the fly tipping site had also been used illegally by others for several months. The Environment Agency are continuing to investigate the other waste on the site. A spokesperson said that the operation highlights the fact that there is a really significant issue here. Officers seized the Stokes van at a public house in Welwyn Garden City, Hertfordshire, before crushing it in January 2018 to prevent them from dumping waste again. Both uncle and nephew were in Ealing Magistrates Court on June the 11th. Thomas Stokes was sentenced to 4 months in prison, which was suspended for a year. He now has to complete 100 hours unpaid community work and pay £500 in costs, as well as a victim surcharge of £85. Brian Stokes was told he would face prison if he visited any illegal waste site within the next 10 years or if he offered to take away someone else's waste within the same time period. Like his uncle, he was also ordered to pay costs of £500 and a victim surcharge of £85. The convictions came as part of Operation Angola, the joint effort by the Environment Agency and various other agencies to target gangs of criminals who dump significant amounts of waste across the southeast. A spokesman for the Environment Agency said, "These people have absolutely no interest in protecting the environment. What we would say to members of the public is if someone offers to take their waste away,
planned on
just ask them
Scout
where it's
Group's
going."
field. Scouts fear their local group's field is under threat after plans to open a car wash were lodged with the council. The 5th Southgate Scouts have been using the Paulin ground, owned by the Paulin Trust, for outdoor activities such as cooking and survival skills for more than 90 years. The group also holds an annual fireworks display at the site, which helps to raise vital funds. But plans for a car wash on the land have left them fearful for its future. Scout leader Jane Poole said, "It has lovely wildlife. The nature in that area is incredible. I'm upset and horrified that there are people who want to take that away from us. Can't take open space away from these young people. They need to be in the fresh air. With the issues we have with kids today, we have got to allow them this open space." The planning application states that the proposed car wash will be closed when any Scouts activities are arranged and will be fully ready for kids and in safe conditions. The Scouts are not convinced and have been campaigning against the application. Ian Barnes, a Labour councillor for Winchmore Hill, said, "For 93 years the field has been an invaluable place for young people to make fires and cook, along with learning other survival skills in preparation for camping expeditions into the wilderness. I work across the borough with groups who are desperately trying to provide opportunities and positive activities for young people. Such provision is all the more important given the dramatic increase in youth crime in Enfield. The activities run by the 5th Southgate Scouts are exactly the sort of thing Enfield needs. People can comment on the plans by visiting the council's planning register and searching for reference 19/01336/FUL.
Trust to invest $12 million in a hospital to improve patient care. A hospital is to invest millions of pounds in the hope it will revolutionise clinical systems and improve patient care. North Middlesex University Hospital NHS Trust, which runs North Middlesex University Hospital in Edmonton, is investing $12 million over the next 3 years. It is hoped the expense will allow the trust to improve staff access to clinical information so that they can make the right decisions and deliver safer and more effective care, and use technology to improve patient experience so that it can be better managed and interacted through video consultations. It could also prove better data so the hospital can use it to improve quality, efficiency and patient outcomes. Part of this investment comes from NHS Digital, who has awarded $5 million to North Mid as part of the Global Digital Exemplar Programme, while the other $7 million will be funded by the Trust.
Team victory at sports competition. Enfield has been crowned London champions at a sporting event for young people with disabilities. Nearly 200 children from all over London took part in the Panathlon at Copperbox Arena on Wednesday, June the 5th. The event stages hundreds of swimming, cheer, football and 10-pin bowling competitions for over 17,500 young people with disabilities and special needs across England and Wales every year. Enfield, represented by Westlea and Waverley schools, beat three-time winners Barking and Dagenham in the concluding athletics race to take home gold medals. Valerie Harnett, team manager and teacher at Westlea School, said, "I am the proudest teacher in the world today. They have tried so hard, and after 7 years, we've done it." Marshall Agohulihan, aged 15, a Westlea School pupil, said, "It feels great. I'm so happy. We've worked so hard. I'm just blown away. I never thought we would win, but we took the victory, and it feels
living
amazing."
without hot water. Council tenants have been living for years in homes without hot water and heating, it has emerged. The discovery at the Alma estate was made by the council's housing MOT team that was recently set up to carry out repairs across Enfield. Former cabinet member for housing, Dino Lemonides, told councillors he was horrified by the discovery. He said the MOT team started off on the Alma estate. "I was shocked to hear they were coming across vulnerable people who had not had heating and hot water for a number of years, not months." The quarterly performance report showed 94.2% of repairs were carried out on council homes by contractors in the third quarter of 2018 to 19, against a target of 98%. The overall satisfaction rate with the repairs was 98.4%. Alev Kazimoglu, cabinet member for health and social care, said, "That is really good, but it is not borne out by the anecdotal evidence we come across as councillors." Councillor Lemonides added, "Any unsatisfactory repair is cause for concern. We have 44,000 to 54,000 repairs every year. Even 1 or 2% unsatisfactory is a large figure." The housing MOT team is an in-house team of workers sent out to carry out checks and repairs on council homes and was launched in October last year. Council leader Nezil Kaliskan told the meeting that housing was the number one issue in the borough. She said, "It is why we said repairs was something we would make a priority, as well as accelerating the delivery of homes."
Police operation results in 24 arrests. Police arrested 24 people for offences relating to drugs, gang activity and violence. Officers swooped on Thursday, June the 13th, as part of a series of early doors search warrants in Enfield. An intelligence-led operation was set up to target and disrupt drug dealing, taking place in and around Ponders Park after concerns were raised by the community. Cocaine, cannabis and several £1,000s in cash were seized. Those arrested, a number of whom are linked to gangs, have been taken to various North London police stations where they remain in custody. Detective Inspector Stephen Masterton of North Area Proactive Police Team said, "Today has been the culmination of months of hard work, targeting gang members and those engaged in drug-related violence, which we know can have and has had devastating consequences on communities and families. Drug dealing is inextricably linked with much of the violence we have seen on the street, which is why we will deal robustly with those who seek to peddle drugs, exploit the most vulnerable within our communities, and make public spaces feel unsafe. Often, those involved in drug dealing are instigating violent acts and placing young people at risk of harm and criminalization in the process. Officers in the area will continue to work tirelessly to pursue anyone engaged in this toxic trade and protect our communities from the violence and serious acquisitive crime that flows from it. If you are involved in the supply of drugs, you should be under no illusion we will use all legal means at our disposal to bring you to justice."
Find out more about falls. Enfield Over 50s Forum President Monty Meth encourages pensioners to attend a free fall prevention advice event. Well, that sounds funny. A free fall prevention advice event. The number of Enfield residents aged 65 and over who have suffered from a fall in the last year just topped 1,000, according to the NHS. New figures reveal that in the year ending March 2019, 330 people aged over 65 were admitted to hospital as a result of a fall, leading mainly to fractures of hips, knees or wrists. Although this was a decrease on the 364 people admitted to hospital the previous year, when another 676 over 65s treated as casualties in accident and emergency departments are included, the combined number of accidents rises to 1,006. Reducing the number of falls among older people remains a top priority for Enfield Over 50s Forum, particularly when we are told that many can be prevented and that 40% of local ambulance call-outs are responding to falls. We are also now told that 1 in 3 people aged over 65 will have a fall this year, on average. For the over 80s, the forecast is that half of them will suffer at least one fall. To beat this gloomy prediction, the Forum is holding an upbeat day of music, dancing, advice and exercises aimed at helping people stay fit and healthy. Our free Focus on Falls event this month is sponsored by Enfield NHS Clinical Commissioning Group and will feature expert advice on hearing and balance, nutrition, blood pressure checks, free afternoon tea, coffee and cakes. The event will be opened by Dr. Nick Rollett, consultant geriatrician at North Middlesex Hospital. The array of activities will range from seated exercises to folk dancing, workshops on bone health, Tai Chi, advice on diabetes, and activities such as walking football. There'll be a free raffle and a jazz band to entertain, plus much more. Enfield Over 50s Forum believes that while falls present unique challenges for older people, many can be prevented by thinking carefully and watching where we are walking, ensuring medication is right, and getting our hearing and eyesight checked regularly. With 6 out of 10 falls said to happen at home, we all need to make sure that carpets are safe and clutter is removed to prevent tripping. We are told also not to sit for long periods, but walk regularly and exercise our muscles. The key message will be that falls are not an inevitable part of getting older. You do not have to stay at home and cut back on things.
Here's one from Edward Ellis of Chase Road, Southgate. Below average funding. I have lived in the London Borough of Enfield for 50 years, and in that time I have seen many changes, some good, some bad, some logical and some illogical. An example of what I consider a bad change and totally illogical is the situation with the public health funding of the NHS in Enfield, which gives Enfield's public health grant of £47 per head, while the average is £73 for all London's boroughs. I'm unable to understand this illogical action, as Enfield has a growing population and needs proper funding, which no doubt has been evidenced by some of your readers in having some prescription drugs taken off their lists and a longer wait to see a GP or get a hospital appointment. This is an important issue for Enfield, which needs addressing. Smacks of discrimination. And you see that the London Borough of Islington is this year getting £103 per head of its population. Camden, £100, and neighbouring Haringey on our doorstep is getting £69.
Bowling for jazz. Dear Enfield Dispatch, it was a surprise to read the recent article in the Dispatch last month about Ziggy's World Jazz. Getting Ziggy with It, issue 8, page 13. Implying that this was the only place to hear jazz in Enfield. On the contrary, many jazz lovers, including my friends and family, have been enthralled for years by performances at Enfield's Googly's Jazz Supper Club. Googly's, which attracts the best jazz musicians and vocalists in the UK, has been going since 2002, and for me, Thursday night is jazz night. I always turn down other invitations because it's guaranteed there'll be a great jazz at Googly's. It is based at Botany Bay Cricket Club in East Lodge Lane, where the club pavilion is turned into a real live atmospheric jazz club. The house band is astonishingly talented, and it is clear that visiting guest musicians really enjoy playing with them. Supper, which is optional, includes lovely home-cooked food, and the bar is well equipped. This is all well priced. If you love jazz, you will love Googlies.
And I have a letter from G.A. Musey of Mitchell Road, Palmer's Green. Queen, government and the media, including the BBC, have recently celebrated the 75th year since the D-Day landings, praising those who took part and meeting remaining veterans. However, the gratitude expressed has turned sour a week later because the BBC has cancelled their free television licence. Currently, free licences are provided from age 75. Banning them will include all D-Day veterans who are now in their 90s. Many are housebound and rely on television to provide interest in their daily lives. The BBC say they can no longer afford to provide free licences. Therefore, if the nation is truly grateful for the heroics performed on D-Day, it should be willing to fund
Joan
their
Ryan,
television
Change UK MP for Enfield North. Time to ditch NHS Trust. Dear Enfield Dispatch, I'm calling for Chase Farm Hospital to be removed from the Royal Free London NHS Foundation Trust and incorporated into North Middlesex University Hospital NH Trust, after the Care Quality Commission downgraded Royal Free from good to requires improvement. It would make sense because of North Mid's location within Enfield, population it serves, and both hospitals' shared knowledge and expertise of the borough's health needs. To ensure Enfield residents have the best access to and standard of care from their local hospitals, it makes far more sense for Chase Farm and North Mid to work together in partnership so that the two hospitals can manage demand for elective surgery and A&E services across the borough. I'm launching this campaign with a petition on my website.
Save our Scouts. A letter from Neil Littman of Winchmore Hill. Dear Enfield Dispatch, I am dismayed by the new application for the development of the sports field used by 5th Southgate Scouts to turn it into a car wash. Car wash planned on Scout Group's field, page 14. I think it is important to make the most of our local assets, such as open spaces, especially in this case, where the Scouts have made use of this place for 90 years. When the first application was made in February, there was an immediate reaction to it, and local residents made their feelings known and lodged appeals through Enfield Council's planning website. It was not enough, however, and surprisingly, the same application, with a few modifications, has been submitted again. Many people do not realize this can happen repeatedly unless some kind of legal process is put in place to ensure the land is registered only for specific uses. The people applying for the car wash say it is vacant land, but the residents believe it to be a community open space. Can the council clarify this?
And Marilyn Hamilton of Heen Road, Enfield, writes, Dear Enfield Dispatch, I read your article, which stated that £6 million was being put towards improving Enfield Town. It was under the heading Mayor Funds £6 million Revamp of Enfield Town, page 3 of issue 7. At the end of the article, Council leader Nezil Kaliskan touched on cycle lanes, saying they alone won't regenerate the town centre. Yet £30 million from the Mayor of London has been wasted on cycle lanes. Meanwhile, youth services have been cut, with another article in the Dispatch stating that Enfield Council had made some of the most severe cuts of all London boroughs, and that was Youth Services / Since Riots, page 1 of issue 7. It is so sad to see the decline in Enfield over the years. It can be made better if people took more pride in the community and the area.
Run by Enfield Society. They will be hosting a talk on Oscar Niemann, which will be given by Lady Aurelia Young. Niemann, who lived from 1906 to 1985, is one of the 20th century's greatest sculptors, responsible for iconic portraits of elder statesmen and major figures. This will take place on Tuesday, the 25th of June at 10:30 a.m. in Jubilee Hall, which is 2 Parsonage Lane, Enfield, EN2 0AJ. And Enfield Society members will get in free, and it will be £1 for others. If you want any more information, you need to visit enfieldsociety.org.uk.
Poetry in Palmer's Green. Saturday, the 29th of June, 1:30 p.m. till 4. Palmer's Green Library, Broomfield Lane, Palmer's Green, N13 4EY. The workshop is led by Christine Weil, a widely published poet and experienced tutor. This friendly and informal workshop is for anyone who has started writing poetry or who would like to give it a try. Tickets are £15 or £10 concession. Call 07905 209 459 or email christine@roomofherown.plus.com.
And I have details of a concert. It's Enfield, Enfield Choral Society. Saturday the 29th of June, 7:30 p.m, St Stephen's Church, Village Road, Bush Hill Park, Enfield EN1 2ET, performing Will Todd's Mass in Blue and a new jazz piece by our musical director Mark Sprosen. We will be accompanied by the Hot Orange Big Band, who will also be playing some of their own numbers. Tickets are £12 in advance, and you need to visit EnfieldChoralSociety.org.
Choir commemorates D-Day. Dramas is a choir and orchestra gathered from many different denominations, offering concerts that communicate aspects of the Christian faith creatively, sensitively, and to a high standard. This musical community is based in Cockfosters and seeks to offer one another encouragement and support through a shared faith and love of music. The choir and orchestra are led by music director David Hook, whose vision, commitment and expertise have made Adoramus a unique experience for singers, orchestral musicians and listeners alike. We're always pleased to hear from singers who might like to join us. Adoramus was formed in 1996 and performs 4 concerts a year in a variety of venues in Enfield, London and Hertfordshire. Past local venues have included Latimer School, Lee Valley Leisure Centre, Oasis Academy, St Ignatius College and a wide range of local churches. To perform at large venue concerts such as the Watford Coliseum and the Alban Arena, singers are invited to join us for at least a term. We also invite school choirs to have the opportunity to sing with a large choir and professional orchestra. Local children's choirs who have performed with us include the Prince of Wales School, Trent School, Eastfield School, the Raglan School and the Beniaminek Polish Children's Choir. Our music ranges from opera, show scores, oratorio and symphonic music, through to gospel, jazz and contemporary worship songs. Adoramus has been on 4 concert tours to northern Italy and has also visited Normandy. The orchestra and singers gave 2 concerts in Turkey in 2014, one being an international friendship concert with the choir of a major university and the other with the mayor of Enfield. The choir has also provided music for 2 services on BBC Radio, taken part in a Songs of Praise recording, and appeared at the Royal Albert Hall in 2017. Adoramus's next concert commemorates the 75th anniversary of D-Day and takes place at the Alban Arena on Saturday the 29th of June at 7:30 p.m. For more information, visit adoramus.com.
On the Money, a partnership between 16 diverse primary schools across Enfield, the Excellence in Learning Community, ELC, is working together to deliver excellence in learning across the community. Our upcoming art project, in conjunction with the not-for-profit organisation Colour Me In Art School, celebrates Enfield and will involve more than 2,000 children. Each school is creating a mural with banknotes that the children have designed and coloured. When displayed all together, will spell Enfield Community. The murals will be displayed in a style similar to Andy Warhol's Money Factory and will circle a sculpture of a cash machine, also decorated with more banknotes. This celebrates the significance of the first ATM in the UK being installed at a bank in Enfield Town in June 1967. The banknotes centre around the mythological beast creature that is often used as a logo for Enfield. The fictitious character is formed from the head of a fox, the chest of a greyhound, the body of a lion, the tail of a wolf, and the legs and talons of an eagle. Each school has been allocated one animal to use as the icon of their banknote. These creatures within the logo also have power words that each school has embraced, such as wisdom, prowess, courage, friendship, and strength. Rachel Oxborough, artist and owner of Colour Me In Art School, said, "Working with ELC has been such a fantastic privilege for us. Our passion is to support education by providing more creative opportunities for schools. This event embraces that art is not just about drawing or painting, but that art underpins our community and businesses. Without creativity, the fabric of society will disintegrate. It all starts with education and the community. That is why this project is so important." The primary school children have been incredibly excited to be part of this project. Because of increasing funding restraints, schools have difficulty providing creative opportunities, which are paramount to the well-being and learning potential of our children. That is why we are looking for local businesses to sponsor the event. All money raised will go towards ELC and support our schools with future creative opportunities. The Enfield Community Exhibition will be displayed at the Dugdale Centre from 12 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of June until Saturday the 6th of July. For more information about ELC, email Michelle at excellenceinlearningcommunity.org.uk or visit excellenceinlearningcommunity.org.uk.
Boxer will put cancellation disappointment behind him. Heavyweight Charles set for rescheduled York Hall bout. Edmonton boxer Ryan Charles is looking to put the disappointment of his cancelled bout against Colin Goldhawk behind him when the two face each other this Saturday in their rescheduled contest. The pair were due to come up against each other at the end of last month at Bethnal Green's York Hall, but were left let down when the show's organisers postponed the event as too many other competitors had pulled out. Having trained hard to be ready for his 6th professional bout, the heavyweight couldn't hide his disappointment at the decision. He said, "I was very disappointed because I trained hard, I was ready, and I literally found out the Thursday before that the show was cancelled. It wasn't just my fight, it was actually the whole show. There were too many other fighters who pulled out. I think there were 16 bouts scheduled, and then it got down to about 8, which isn't enough to put on a show, so they just had to cancel it." Charles has 5 fights under his belt since his professional debut against Ferenc Zalek in April 2018, with this rescheduled York Hall bout against Hoddesdon's Goldhawk set to be his 6th. Even with a limited number of fights in the 14 months since his debut, Charles feels that momentum has never been a problem, and he will remain fully focused on the task at hand. He said, "Generally, you have about 8 weeks between each bout. In my case, sometimes there's a bit longer. That's because of things outside the ring that have been happening. There's been a couple of times where I've had a fight arranged and then it got cancelled. But this year, I'm going to try to keep the momentum going, and after this fight, hopefully box another 3 or 4 times till the end of the year. I don't think the cancelled fight has done too much damage to my momentum. It was more just the disappointment. I just carried on training, so if anything now, I'm probably in better shape. I'm feeling sharper. I've got more sparring in, and I've been able to work on a few things in the gym." While the delay has provided Charles with extra time to prepare, it will have done the same for his opponent too. Despite Goldhawk losing his 4 previous fights, there's no chance that he will be underestimated. Charles said, "I've been getting some good sparring in with people like Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora and Dillian White, so I'm ready. I'm not even looking at his record though. That doesn't mean anything, as he's going to be coming to win. I'm going to be on my game plan. I'll stick to my job, move, box, and get the win." Oh, sorry. Midfielder raring to go at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Winks excited for Villa League opener. Harry Winks hopes that starting the 2019-20 season at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will be the catalyst for a strong start for the club in the new campaign. Spurs will entertain newly promoted Aston Villa on the opening day as they start their first full season at the new ground, and Winks, who made 41 appearances last season, can't wait to start. He told the club website, "It's going to be an exciting game to kick off the campaign against a newly promoted side, especially with this being our first full season in the new stadium. Villa are a big club and are going to want to kick off their season positively after just being promoted back to the Premier League. We also have to respect the fact that this season a lot of teams are going to want to beat us, especially when they play at our new stadium. We will prepare for every game as always, and I'm fully confident we can win any game at home. Hopefully we can get off to a good start, and that can be the catalyst to a winning run, which in the Premier League is so important because the early stages of the season can play a big part in determining where you finish at the end of the season.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Kitty, John and Ali and Peter on the controls, it's cheerio.
Bye.
Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with the Enfield Talking newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.